During a routine traffic stop in Coronado, California, the man is confronted by the police for allegedly violating the California Vehicle Code. The officer singles out the GoPro camera mounted on his helmet as the reason for the stop, initiating a contentious debate over the interpretation and application of the law.
It's an infraction. It's a moving violation. You can't have anything on your helmet. It compromises the integrity. Can I have the information I asked you for, please?
Actually, sir, I mean, the fact that you pulled me over for a traffic violation of a GoPro on the top of my helmet, which is for my safety, it's kind of ridiculous. I will not be consenting to anything. So
Okay.
if you need to get a sergeant out here, that'd be great. But
What's your name?
did I commit a crime?
I've stopped you for a traffic violation.
Okay.
I've asked you for your information. You're refusing to give it to me.
I'm not refusing to give it to you. It's just I did not commit a crime. And you pulled me over
Okay.
for a GoPro on my helmet,
And it's a traffic violation.
which is for my safety.
Do you understand what I stopped you
What's
for?
your name and badge number? Bliss, what's your badge number?
You answer my
Asserting his Fourth Amendment rights, the man engages in a heated argument with the police, refusing to provide his identification. He maintains that he has not committed a crime and questions the legality of the officer's actions.
And in fact, it's the stupidest thing you pull me over for is that freaking camera.
Is speeding a crime?
A camera
Is
on
speeding
my
a,
helmet.
Is speeding a crime?
A camera on my helmet, sir.
Answer my question. Speeding a
I'm not
crime?
answering any more questions. I'd like to speak to my lawyer.
Can I have your information, please?
You can get your sergeant.
Sit tight. I just want to let you know that I'm also recording this stop.
Of course
And
you
I've
are.
asked you numerous times for your information and you're refusing to do so.
I'm not refusing. If I committed a crime, I would absolutely give you my ID.
All right. You've been stopped for a traffic violation,
I got stopped for a GoPro on my helmet.
and I've told you it's a traffic violation.
That's a bullshit violation. So go ahead and get your sergeant here.
Okay, I've told you it's a violation, so you're still refusing to produce your information.
If
When you've
you
been
can
informed that you
articulate a crime that I have committed, I will ID. Until then, I do
Okay.
not have to ID. And in fact, this is a violation of my Fourth Amendment right, and I am now invoking Title 18, Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. If you do one more movement without getting your sergeant here, you're fucked.
Did you hear me?
Did you hear me? Get your sergeant here. I'm done speaking to you. I told you I am done talking. I am now invoking my Fifth Amendment right to stay silent.
If
Thank
you
you.
fail to produce your information,
Then what? You're going to
you're in
arrest me?
jeopardy of being
So that'd
placed
be
under
kidnapping.
arrest.
And I already invoked Title 18, Section 242.
How is that kidnapping?
You'll find that out in court, sir.
You're failing to identify
You'll
to
find that
myself.
out in
Are you
court.
familiar with?
Are you getting your sergeant?
Are you familiar with Section Penal Code
Are
148?
you not listening to a lawful order?
Are you listening to
Call
my
your
lawful order?
sergeant.
Invoking Title 18, Section 242, the man points out the potential degradation of rights under the color of law, emphasizing his knowledge of legal statutes. In addition, he exercises his Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, further reinforcing his stance against self-incrimination. The encounter intensifies as legal principles clash with law enforcement's demands for identification.
He literally pulled me over for this.
You Cody Shear?
Mind your own business.
Are you Cody Shear?
I am not answering questions.
Okay.
I don't answer questions.
Wow, this cop is a piece of shit. Not only is he harassing this man, he's out here blatantly saying his name. If that even is his name, he's just throwing out someone's information like that. This cop's a grade A piece of shit.
Hey Cody, if he issues you a citation, are you gonna sign it?
If he issues me a citation,
Correct.
he could take that and wipe his ass with it.
Why are you being so...
Because he pulled me over for a fucking GoPro on my helmet.
Okay.
Okay? Is that a crime?
If it's in the vehicle code, then yes, it is.
Is it a crime? Do you know what a crime is?
Yes, I know what a crime is. If
Okay.
it's in the vehicle code, then it's a crime.
So just tell me what the difference between a crime and an infraction is.
The infraction is a crime, yes.
Okay, so what, is this a misdemeanor or a felony?
I don't know. It's definitely not felony.
Well, I know that, but is it a misdemeanor or a felony?
It's
Neither
likely
one.
Not, it's most likely not a
Either one.
misdemeanor too.
Okay.
But I don't.
So I
know
don't need
that.
I don't need an ID for a non-crime.
The other cop comes to the guy and asks him to provide his ID, where he asks the cop really politely if this is a crime, and that he has a cam on his helmet, where the guy refused to give his ID to the cops.
How's it going, Lee?
Morning, sir. How are you?
Morning.
So what's going on?
So it was a great day.
Okay.
Okay, I was just out enjoying my day, and I got pulled over for having a GoPro on my helmet.
Okay.
Okay, and so I let Bliss know that, this is a violation of my Fourth Amendment right. The fact that I was just traveling, I was following all the rules and laws of the road and traffic safety and nothing. And then he gets behind me and pulls me over for a GoPro. and tries to tell me that that's a violation of whatever code. What safety code? What does it even matter? You know, what if I had a fin on my helmet? What if I put my visor up? Is that now a violation of the traffic code? Like, look how close my visor is being as high as my GoPro. What violation, what crime have I committed? Please tell me.
Okay, so you're in violation of the California Vehicle Code, which says you can't have that mounted on your helmet.
Okay, so can you
It's as
tell me
simple
what
as
code
that.
that is?
Pardon?
What code is that?
Pardon? I don't know what code is.
Okay, look that up, and also
But
tell me what crime I
regardless-
committed.
Regardless, it's an infraction.
Okay,
It's like speeding.
and I'll see him in court.
Correct.
Absolutely,
need
and
your
it's gonna be a
we
fun
need
day in
your-
court. Make sure you're ready for a full day, buddy.
Right, and we need your information.
A discussion unfolds between the man and sergeant who arrives at the scene. The man asserts his rights and questions the legality of being pulled over for having a GoPro on his helmet. Tensions rise as they debate the need for identification and potential consequences.
Are you threatening me
I'm not
with
threatening you at
arrest?
all. I want to know whether
No,
you're going to
with
provide us
with an
your
arrest.
identification so he can fill out his citation, so then we can give you a summons to go to court, so then you can come to court and then talk to the judge.
You know how easy it is for him to just put his tail between his legs and say, "Take that off your helmet."
Pardon?
Why couldn't he have said, if that's such a violation, why couldn't he have just asked me to take it off?
Well, he would have.
No, he didn't. He could have. He walked up. He wanted my ID so he
Yes,
can give me a
wanted your
ticket
ID, so he
Right.
could- how do you know he's going to give you a ticket?
because he asked for my ID.
How do you know he's going to give you a
It
ticket?
doesn't matter. I
So
mean,
you're making an
listen.
assumption
So
because
listen
he
here.
asked
Look
for an
here,
ID
right here,
that you're going to get a ticket.
right
correct?
here. No, don't be
So-
grabbing, and you're getting too close to my personal stuff. Right here is my ID.
Okay.
Okay. Am I being threatened with an arrest because I put a GoPro for my safety on my helmet and got pulled over by a...
The man firmly asserts his belief that he is not obligated to provide his identification unless he has committed a crime. He challenges the sergeant, accusing him of violating constitutional rights and asserting that law enforcement officers are merely public servants. He provided the cop with the ID.
You asked for one thing, you got one thing, that's all you're getting until this I speak to my lawyer.
Well, I'm not a party to this. I was just throwing it out there.
Okay.
Just to throw it out there.
Tensions escalate as both parties exchange harsh words, with the man displaying a distrust of the officer and expressing his intention to expose alleged misconduct. The encounter concludes with the man receiving a citation and preparing for a legal battle, vowing to challenge the actions of the officer and seeking accountability for what he perceives as a violation of his rights. On July 20th, 2022, an auditor from the Clear Lake Community Watch, who will be referred to as Mr. Clear Lake, was driving past Deputy C. Vega of the Harris County Sheriff's Office as the deputy was conducting a traffic stop in Seabrook, Texas. Mr. Clear Lake rolled down his window and yelled an anti-police sentiment, including profanity, at Deputy Vega as he drove by. In response to this incident, Deputy Vega abandoned the ongoing traffic stop, got back onto his vehicle, made a U-turn, and began to follow Mr. Clear Lake. Mr. Clear Lake, acting responsibly, properly signaled and made a right turn, prompting Deputy Vega to activate his lights in an attempt to pull him over. In compliance with the signal, Mr. Clear Lake immediately pulled into a nearby gas station and brought his vehicle to a stop.
Why do you pull me over?
I'll tell you that if you roll it down.
Why can't you tell me now?
Because the reason I pulled you over is you were yelling something from your car.
So what?
Huh?
So what? That's why you pull me over, because I'm
Because
yelling?
I don't know if you're in need of help or anything.
Oh, I don't need help.
So,
Thank you.
Okay, let me see your driver's license real quick.
I don't need help.
Deputy Vega asserted that he stopped Mr. Clear Lake's vehicle due to Mr. Clear Lake's yelling from the window. Nevertheless, Deputy Vega clarified that his primary concern was for Mr. Clear Lake's well-being, rather than taking offense at the content of his speech. It's worth noting that the First Amendment prohibits government officials from engaging in retaliatory measures against individuals for their protected expression. In this situation, it is undeniably evident that Mr. Clear Lake was involved in protected activity, as protected by the Supreme Court's long-standing recognition of profanity as protected speech under the First Amendment. Deputy Vega himself acknowledged that he initiated the traffic stop because of Mr. Clear Lake's yelling from the window. However, it remains uncertain whether a court would conclude that undergoing a traffic stop resulting in a warning without any citation or arrest would be considered an injury that could deter an individual of ordinary resilience from continuing to engage in the same expressive activity. In the 2012 case of Simmons versus City of Mahmoud, it was stated that not all instances of police detention would deter an individual of ordinary resilience from exercising their protected rights.
You can just crack your window if that's what you want to do.
It's already cracked.
I can't see that.
Well,
This thing.
it doesn't matter. Here. I don't wish to answer questions.
You have to let me know if there's a weapon in the car. Did you not take the class?
I did.
Did they tell you have to tell them?
When you demand identification, I have to display this. That's what they told me in the class. That's what the law
If
says.
the officer wants to take the
And
weapon,
actually, if I don't display, there's really not much you can do because there is no penalty attached to that. I have to carry this if I'm carrying this.
are you carrying?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, so if you have a weapon in the car, then what?
Consequently, there exists the possibility that a court might find Mr. Clearlake unable to pursue a First Amendment retaliation claim, despite Deputy Vega's evident retaliatory intent when initiating the traffic stop. However, the likelihood is much higher that Mr. Clearlake could succeed in a claim asserting Deputy Vega's violation of his Fourth Amendment rights by initiating the traffic stop without reasonable suspension or probable cause. Mr. Clearlake, who had a holstered firearm on his right hip, presented both his driver's license and his license to carry as requested by Deputy Vega. However, when asked by Deputy Vega about the presence of a handgun in the car, Mr. Clearlake declined to answer. As per Section 46.02 of the Texas Penal Code, it is considered an offense if a person intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly carries a handgun in a motor vehicle in plain view, except if the person is 21 years of age or older or possesses a valid handgun carry license and the handgun is properly holstered.
What is your name? Your name? Sheriff? That's your name?
Right
Sheriff?
above it, right there. You see it?
I'm not familiar with the English alphabet, sir.
Be on the ticket.
Okay. Can I have an incident number, please? Oh, a ticket. A ticket, okay.
When Deputy Vega asked for identification, Mr. Clearlake adhered to the statute's requirements, and it was not necessary for him to respond to any further inquiries from Deputy Vega concerning the potential presence of a handgun in the vehicle. Policy 302 of the Harris County Sheriff's Department Handbook establishes guidelines for what is considered professional conduct among deputies and other HCSO employees. This policy imposes an obligation on them to provide official identification when required. Upon Deputy Vega's notification that the traffic stop had concluded, he directed Mr. Clearlake to remain inside his vehicle. Although Mr. Clearlake opened the door, he showed no signs of attempting to exit. As a response to this action, Deputy Vega drew his weapon.
Did I exit the vehicle?
I'm
Did I
giving you a
exit
heads
the
up.
vehicle?
Give you a heads up.
Did I exit the vehicle? Hey, can I? You do have a dash cam, right? Very good. You can't just pull me over because I said the police. I hope you realize that, stupid. I'm sorry?
Do you have insurance on the vehicle?
Yeah,
Can you show it to me, please? It doesn't come back.
of course it comes back.
Not on my system, it doesn't. Also, it's not typical behavior.
According to the policy, deputies can ready their weapons when approaching potentially dangerous situations, but displaying or pointing firearms in a threatening manner is only permitted when objectively reasonable. Deputy Vega's actions removing the firearm when Mr. Clearlake opened the vehicle door might be justified due to potential concerns.
Did you read my address on the driver
It
license?
didn't have an address. It didn't
That-
have an apartment number on your driver's
Of course it does.
Let me see. Can you verify?
You've already seen it. I've already complied with that part.
I know. Okay, I'll be right back. Yeah, I say that I've never met anybody quite like you that would yell at an officer doing their job, but
So,
you have a great
let
day.
me
There's no
understand.
warnings, no fines, no penalties.
May I ask you a question?
There's questions on there. There's the address.
Yeah,
There's
no, I
the,
have a
there's
question.
an incident
Can you
number
get your
on the thing right
supervisor here, please?
No,
Is the stop over?
the stop is over. You may leave.
All right.
Please don't exit until I get out. Until I leave.
Well, you said the stop is over, right?
There is no indication that Mr. Clearlake had received any materials from the public records request. Additionally, he has expressed his intention to file a complaint and a lawsuit.
For what? Failed to signal with turn indicator within 100 feet. Drew the weapon on me. He drew the gun.
In conclusion, Deputy Vega's actions are heavily criticized, earning him an F grade for retaliating against Mr. Clearlake, who is exercising his First Amendment rights. The initiation of a traffic stop without reasonable suspicion and unnecessary brandishing of his firearm are the specific reasons for this criticism. Now, moving to the next one. On February 8, 2023, a fire broke out in the quadplex apartment of college student Taylor Brown, situated in Normal, Illinois. Following the incident, both fire officials and police officers from the Normal Police Department arrived at the scene. At the request of the officers, Ms. Brown agreed to be taken to Normal Police Station for questioning. However, after waiting for more than 40 minutes without being interviewed, Ms. Brown asked to be taken back home. The subsequent interaction between Ms. Brown and the officers was recorded by an unknown officer's body camera.
Who are you on your phone with? So we're gonna have to seize your phone, so go ahead and hang up.
Seize my phone for what?
Go ahead and hang up.
Why?
Go ahead and hang up.
They want to seize my phone, but I'm not under arrest for it.
You're not under arrest, but your phone's gonna be seized.
No.
You're gonna hang up the phone.
I seized my phone, but I'm not in custody.
So listen.
There's three of them all around me.
So listen.
FaceTime you for a second.
You listen for a second. So the fire is gonna be under investigation.
That's fine.
Okay, and we're gonna seize your phone.
Why?
Because the fire is under investigation.
I need to know what my.
So you can hand me the phone, or I can take the phone.
But I need to know what my phone's being. They're not telling me a reason why my phone.
I just did.
But you said it's under investigation, which I.
So listen to me. The fire.
That's her phone.
So the fire is going to be under investigation, and your phone's going to be seized.
The officers informed Ms. Brown that her phone was being seized due to the ongoing investigation of the fire in her apartment. Typically, in compliance with the Fourth Amendment's protection against unreasonable seizures, the government is required to obtain a warrant based on probable cause before legally seizing an individual's personal property, including their cell phone. In this particular situation, it remains unclear what evidence the officers had, if any, to suggest that Ms. Brown's phone contained pertinent information regarding the fire. However, according to a lawsuit filed by Ms. Brown regarding this incident, the officers attempted to secure a search warrant for her phone after its seizure, but the warrant was not approved by the state's attorney.
Hang up the phone and they're going to take the phone, because at this point I'm being threatened.
It's not a threat. I've asked you several times, and you're just going to go back and forth with me.
A reason as to why my phone is being taken.
So the fire is going to be under investigation by the fire department. So stop. Don't interrupt me. So don't interrupt me. The fire is going to be under investigation.
Don't ever tell me not to interrupt you, and I'll be this calm.
So the phone's going to be seized. So in a second, I'm going to take it.
I'm asking you. I'm asking you a reason. I'm not being rebuttal. I'm asking you a reason.
So if you would like to talk to the detective, you can. Do you wish to talk to him?
Yeah, but
do you want to give an interview?
No, I wanted to ask him why my phone's being seized, because she said she could take me home, but without my phone. That doesn't make sense.
After law enforcement officers have lawfully obtained a cell phone, the concern of the arrestee potentially deleting incriminating data from the phone is eliminated. However, it is crucial to note that even under these circumstances, the officers are still not permitted to search the contents of the phone without obtaining a warrant, unless a court has explicitly authorized such a search. The officers made an effort to seize Miss Brown's phone, and when she resisted by pulling away, they responded by forcing her to the ground in an attempt to take the phone from her possession. Using physical force against an individual who poses no verbal or physical threat in an attempt to seize property that is lawfully in their possession would constitute a violation of their constitutional rights. However, if the individual is found to be resisting, officers may be allowed to use reasonable force based on specific circumstances. At the time of the officer's attempt to seize Miss Brown's phone, she was not under arrest, so any potential charges would likely fall under the obstruction subsection.
Are you going to talk to the detective?
As a matter of fact, are you recording this?
Are you going to talk to the detective and provide an interview? Yes or no?
Is that with or without the phone?
Without the phone. The phone's being seized. Are you talking to the detective or no? I don't know. That's not my question.
I need an answer to that before I
So the question is, are you going to provide an interview?
No.
No? Okay. Go ahead and hand me the phone.
I have to know if my phone is being seized.
Go ahead and hand me the phone. Do not kick. Okay, push your legs out. Stop. Relax. Relax.
Mom, I'm not letting go. I promise.
Relax.
Mom, I'm not letting
Relax.
go.
We just want your phone. That's it.
We just want your phone.
They're trying to give me no protection.
Assuming that the officers lacked the reasonable suspicion required to seize Miss Brown's cell phone without a warrant, it's also probable that a court would conclude she could not be convicted of resisting an unauthorized act by a police officer. Once Miss Brown was placed in handcuffs and helped to stand up, the officers informed her that they would be charging her with resisting an aggravated battery of a police officer. The Appellate Court of Illinois utilized a similar statute that allowed the use of force to prevent unlawful entries into one's dwelling, resulting in the defendant's battery conviction being overturned. The court found that the defendant's actions were based on a reasonable belief that her conduct was necessary to terminate the officer's unlawful entry into her dwelling, and her limited use of force was deemed justified. Applying a similar logic in Ms. Brown's case, where she may argue that she used force to protect her personal property, it's conceivable that she could potentially be acquitted of any battery charges brought against her. After her arrest, Ms. Brown was taken to McLean County Jail and was subsequently released at approximately 1 p.m. the following day. Interestingly, she was not charged with resisting, battery, or any other offense related to the altercation at the police station or the fire incident at her apartment. The officers returned Ms. Brown's phone to her around 3:30 p.m., several hours after her release on February 23, 2023. In response to the incident, Ms. Brown filed a federal lawsuit against the unidentified normal officers involved, alleging false arrest, excessive force, failure to intervene, and battery. As of now, the lawsuit's still awaiting resolution. In summary, the normal Illinois officers received a failing grade, as it is highly probable that they seized Ms. Brown's phone without the necessary probable cause and also used unnecessary force when she refused to allow them to take her phone without a warrant. Additionally, the arrest of Ms. Brown resulted in charges that were eventually found to be baseless. Now let's move to the next and last case of today's video. On February 9, 2023, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine conducted a press conference at an elementary school in East Palestine, Ohio, to provide updates regarding the derailment of a train carrying toxic chemicals. During this time, News Nation correspondent Evan Lambert was in the back of the gymnasium, filming a pre-scheduled live update while Governor DeWine was speaking at the front. Two members of the Ohio State Highway Patrol and the Ohio National Guard's Major General John Harris Jr. approached Mr. Lambert and requested him to halt the broadcast, citing his alleged loudness. The ensuing interaction was captured by the body camera of one of the Highway Patrol troopers, although there is no available audio recording. Despite the absence of sound recording during the initial part of the interaction, the footage reveals an argument between Mr. Lambert and Major General Harris. Subsequently, Major General Harris is seen pushing Mr. Lambert. Following the incident, Mr. Lambert alleges that Major General Harris assaulted him, while Major General Harris claims he felt threatened. However, it is essential to acknowledge that this explanation seems to contradict the body camera footage, which shows Major General Harris as the instigator of the altercation and does not display any physically aggressive behavior from Mr. Lambert. Sheriff Brian McLaughlin of the Columbiana County Sheriff's Office instructs Mr. Lambert to depart from the area. In response, Mr. Lambert clarifies that he is attempting to listen to the press briefing and carry out his job, emphasizing that his actions are protected by the First Amendment.
Go. Just walk outside. Come on, out the door. Come on. Out the doors. Out the doors.
By other media right here. I'm going to listen.
I don't care. You're going to walk out the door.
I'm going to listen.
You're going to walk
Do
out the door.
not touch me.
Come on out, sir. You're going to walk out the door. Because you're going to jail.
Do not touch me.
Sir, can we talk outside, please?
I'm trying to
talk
listen.
Outside, please.
And he escalated with me. I am doing my job. This is covered by the First Amendment.
The First Amendment of the United States Constitution explicitly prohibits Congress from creating any laws that would restrict the freedom of the press. Courts have interpreted this clause to safeguard not only the press's right to publish news, but also their right to gather and acquire newsworthy information. In this particular case, the court made a definitive differentiation between the circumstances of that case and the current situation.
Excuse me. Oh, sir.
Sir, this is bad. Stop.
I am on the ground. Where are you, sir?
Stop resisting. Oh my God, stop. You weren't get this.
Resist.
This is so bad.
Lay on your back. Lay flat, please.
You guys, he's a national correspondent. You cannot do this.
I'm a reporter with News Nation. It's all being recorded right now.
I hope it is. This is horrible.
Because you can't talk to people about doing their jobs.
Oh my God, I cannot believe this.
This is what it's like to be a black reporter in
Evan, I'm so
2023.
sorry. Evan, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Sia.
Pull over, sir.
The court emphasized that the mayor did not withhold access to information that was commonly available to other media representatives or prevent the reporter from participating in press conferences. In this scenario, Mr. Lambert's reporting did not seem to cause any disruption, as Governor DeWine mentioned that he was unaware of the incident, only hearing about the disagreement that occurred after the troopers and Major General Harris approached Mr. Lambert.
You record all that.
I did, sir. You want me to shut off?
No, you can keep recording. We just need to make sure that no one else comes in here that's not authorized to come.
Rudeness or disrespect.
Hello.
We've been waiting for.
In his statement, Governor DeWine acknowledged that reporters possess the full right to report during press briefings. Mr. Lambert could assert a compelling argument that his First Amendment rights were infringed upon by being excluded from the press conference, considering that he was merely performing his job as a reporter.
It's the worst possible time in the world, okay? But there's nothing that we can do about that. He's committed to doing his live show. He's got people talking to him. He doesn't know whether.
Upon Mr. Lambert's refusal to leave the press conference, East Palestine Detective Daniel Howder and Columbiana County Chief Deputy Jennifer Tucker notify him of his arrest. Subsequently, when he appears to make a slight attempt to move away from the officers, they take action and force him to the ground before handcuffing him.
Comes over and says, I don't want you here. Okay. He still refused. I didn't. So now he's arrested. I didn't witness anything. That's his own fault. He's arrested. All he had to do was type up. I didn't. And he just kept on arguing. All I'm telling you is from the television standpoint.
Later in the episode, the matter of whether the officers possess sufficient probable cause to arrest Mr. Lambert will be addressed. If a court were to determine that the arrest was legally justified, there exists the possibility that Mr. Lambert could face a conviction for resisting arrest, even if he were to be acquitted of the trespassing charge. Despite the charges against Mr. Lambert being dropped, no information has been provided regarding any disciplinary measures against the involved officers, including Major General Harris. It remains unclear whether Mr. Lambert or News Nation intends to pursue legal action against any of the parties involved. On the whole, the numerous officers involved receive criticism, as they are likely to have infringed upon Mr. Lambert's First Amendment rights by unjustly excluding him from a public press conference, arresting him for refusing to relinquish his rights, and employing unnecessary force during his arrest and initial disagreement with Major General Harris.